If you want to get involved in politics, there is no more potent or powerful way than you to do so than by becoming a precinct committeeman. If you've lived in your area, your home, more than 2 election cycles, and you've never met your precinct committeeman, then chances are they're not doing their job. All right? And if they're not doing their job, then maybe you should consider find out who they are, reach out to them, find out what is going on. I don't say, and I would never say, go out there and run against Republican committeemen or Democrat committeemen, though I'd love to see thousands of Tea Partiers step up and run as Democrat committeemen all over the state.
Go for the Green Party too.
That would scare the hell out of them. But nothing, you know, how many people here believe the Tea Parties, one of the major purposes of the Tea Parties is to affect the Republican Party?
Oh yeah.
Okay?
I would say.
For me, that's a big deal. I want to see the Tea Parties affect the Republican Party. I want to see them push them to the right and hold them to the right and kick them in the can when they're not moving to the right. Committeeman is the way to go about that. If you're a committeeman, you have a bigger voice in who gets on the ballot in the primaries. And those are the people that we choose from for the general election. Being a committeeman can have a huge impact, not only at the local level for your school board races and village races and park district races, but also right up to the national level. It doesn't seem so, but when people get to know you election cycle after election cycle after election cycle, they begin to trust your opinion on races further down the ballot. They might not give a damn what you think about Mark Kirk. But when they've met you and they know you and they've heard you for years, they might take your opinion on a judge. They don't know the judge names, or a county board member, or a village board member, or a library school board member. That's where it really matters. That is the training ground for the liberals. They send people out to run for these offices so they get a little credibility, and then they run them up, then they bump them up the ladder. Because now they've got gravitas. They've got gravitas. Now, I could talk for hours about politics, but I imagine that some of you folks who have not been involved in politics for very long would have some questions about the political process. Because it is a little convoluted, it is a little difficult to understand. It's hard to get involved. And I'd be happy to answer questions afterwards. Does anybody have any questions about precinct committee?
How do you find out about dairy?
Darien, you can usually go to your county clerk's website, and there'll be a list published on there of who the committeemen are. In some cases, you'll actually find contact information for them. Go and do a Google search for the Darien Grand Old Party or the Darien Republican Party.
If you go to Darien would be part of Downers Grove Township.
Right.
And then just go to the Downers Grove Township Republican Party website. I think it's Kathy. Is it the new one? Is DGGOP?
Yeah.
Yeah, DGGOP.
Actually, you came to the right place to find about Downers Grove Township tonight.
Yeah, we can talk afterwards.
Those guys will talk to you afterwards. There's 6 or 7 of them guys here tonight. Is there anything else you wanted me to talk about? Yeah. Well, I don't want to dominate this meeting. I know many people are hungry, they want to eat. But if people have questions about politics in general, I'd be happy to answer those questions afterwards. Just remember that the committeeman really is the basic unit of political activism. And if you're willing to take on that role, even a small part of it, just a little bit of it, break up into groups. I'll take my street and you take the next street over. You can make a huge impact. And you can get to know these people a lot better. There's hundreds of candidates out there. It's not just the top 5 or 6 people on the ballot. Those judges, Cedric Crenshaw found out yesterday. Anybody know about Cedric Crenshaw? This is how politics becomes local. The judge who made the ruling on Cedric Crenshaw yesterday is from my township. She lives down the street from me. I knew 2 weeks ago when they appointed her to be the judge in that case that there was no way in hell she was going to keep Cedric off the ballot. Because I know Bobby's a good person and a good judge, and she was going to rule in a decent decent way and rule fairly. And so Cedra is now on the ballot, and of course they're going to try to fight it some more. That's because A.J. Wilhelmy is scared shitless of her, and he should be. Anybody that's never seen Cedra,
He never ran.
yeah.
He never ran. He never ran.
Well,
He's in my, I'm in his district.
Yeah.
And I'm in Sutton's district.
yeah.
But, he never ran.
Yeah, he's never had to run, and they wanted to fix it so that he would never have to run.
Uncontested, but now that Cedra's on the ballot, he didn't want her on the ballot. Now he's going to have to work for his office.
Yes.
I heard numbers today. I talked to one of the campaign chairman today. He told me, I was told that it's going to cost A.J. Wilhelmy $1 million to try to defend that seat. So that's $1 million we're taking out of the Democrat Party.
Well, it's $1 million that the Will County Democrats are not going to spend on county board races,
Exactly.
and judge races,
That's right.
and county executive, and all of these state senate and state house races. So it matters. It makes a big difference, and that's all politics is local. She maybe would have never ended up being a judge if it weren't for the committeemen who backed her up and kept her going. Made it easy for her to get on the ballot and stay on the ballot. All right? Sure.
I have one question for those of us who may be new to this concept or organization is what exactly is the structure or the long-term vision for the Tea Party? In 3 years or 5 years, where does this organization go relative to the two established parties? Do they create candidates of their own? I mean, what is the future for this?
My answer to that would be the Tea Parties need to be, they need to exist, I believe they need to exist forever.
Yes.
Not as a political party. I don't believe that the Tea Party should form and put people on the ballot and have committeemen and go through all that. But they need to exist in order to force the two major political parties to the right and to at least hear our voice on the Constitution, the size, scope, power of the federal government, bureaucracy,
It's right now they're next.
on individual rights. And it's also, I think the most powerful thing that the Tea Parties can do in the future is to punish those who are rhinos in 2012, in 2014, in 2016, 2018, and from now on until the cows come home. Because if you're going to be a rhino, there ought to be a price to pay.
Right.
So far,
Barker, Republican in name only. Barker.
I started in politics under Reagan, and I love Ronald Reagan to death. But the Republican Party left me when they supported the TARP funding under Bush. As Bush was going out the door, many of our Republican congressional leaders supported that god-awful spending bill to give people money for, we still don't know. We still don't know where all the money went. We don't know what they did with it. And what's worse, we're actually paying, we're not paying on that, we're paying on the interest of that. We haven't even gotten to the principal there. So, I was really glad when I heard that there was a movement afoot, the Tea Party movement. That's why I took the day off of work to make sure I was at a Tea Party rally on April 15, 2009. And so far, it's doing okay. I hope I've answered your question, but that is a personal belief. Many in the Tea Party movement, about 25%, according to all the statistics that I've seen, actually believe that the Tea Party ought to be a third party. At the national level, they've done some polling, and they found that among leaders of the Tea Party movement,